Here's how you can start to use your brain and begin to dominate anything that you do in life. All right, so a lot of people aren't even using their brain. Most people, actually, they're just drifting their life away. They are aimlessly living in just a space of air inside their mind, and they wonder why years, weeks go by and they haven't even done anything. And it's because you're not using your brain. You're not thinking critically towards whatever it is that you're doing so you can actually get better, right? And I'm gonna reference a book like per normal, show you guys some studies that I've done to kind of help you visualize and have more awareness of what's actually happening here. Then towards the end, go into some solutions. I'm gonna try to keep this one shorter because a lot of you guys, your attention spans are so fried you can't remember what even happened a few days ago. You can't even focus on one thing longer than 10 minutes. Your attention spans are gone because you're not even using your brain. You're not present. So I'm hoping this will be of value to you guys. So number one, you're drifting. There's a book by Napoleon Hill called Outwitting the Devil. It was actually banned for, I believe, 70 years before being released. And the concept is drifting, that the devil, a conversation between the devil and Napoleon Hill. The book's kind of like this dialogue. You have the devil talking with Napoleon Hill about how the devil wins and controls people's lives. And I believe he says like 98% of the populace he controls unconsciously, doing this thing called drifting, where they're just aimlessly living and coasting their life away. So if this is you, I'm going to kind of break down the awareness so you can kind of snap out of this confusion, snap out of the hypnosis of the devil, this drifting that this book talks about. Start crushing your life, because the ultimate factor is using your brain. All right, let's get into it. I'm gonna try to move quick because my last video went viral and people in the comments keep saying they can't even pay attention, but the video served its cause because that's kind of what it was about. All right, what is a drifter? According to Napoleon Hill in this book and the devil, right? A drifter is someone that follows the herd. They don't think critically. They just go with the flow. They avoid a clear purpose. They don't have a clear direction in their life. They're very easily distracted. They can't stay with one thing for a prolonged period of time. They have no plan and they overthink. And that overthinking, they don't leads to no action taken towards whatever it is. They don't have a goal, so they don't even know what to take action towards. And most likely they're living for escape. They're taking drugs, they're addicted to porn, they're addicted to these short-term stimuli that are providing very short-lived moments of pleasure that die and only make your void deeper. So that's kind of a drifter. What's a non-drifter? They're clear on purpose. On the contrary, they're clear on purpose. They have direction, they have self-control, they have willpower, they're independent thinkers, they use their mind. That's literally what this book talks about. Like the devil says, how does someone overcome drifting? It's by using their brain, right? So that's why I'm breaking this down for you guys so you can know what's happening here in society, why people are just brain rotten and just how they're not using their brain, and they expect their life to kind of magically wake up and be good, and then they just blame all these other things and they're like, what's wrong with me? And it's because you're not using your brain. So I'm really hoping this provides value to you guys, but let's keep going. All right, independent thinking, use your brain. That's how you stop drifting. And ultimately, now here's some solutions. All right, like what can you do today to start snapping out of the hypnosis, start using your brain and become a champion in your life? Number one, write down your purpose. What is your life mission? If you don't know your life mission, that's number one. Find out something that will get you up every day. You'll have direction towards. You'll say, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to accomplish. By doing that, you instantly are putting yourself up into becoming someone and using your brain towards something, right? You have a goal. You have to use your mind. How do I accomplish this? Because all this revolves around critical thinking. Number two, have awareness of fear, doubt, and uncertainty. Or I believe fear, uncertainty, doubt, FUD is the term that is used often, right? Notice when fear comes in and these emotions start to hit. When you recognize it, remind yourself you are not the emotion. That is not you. Stop attaching yourself to that feelings of an emotion of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Recognize it, be aware of it when it comes. Do not attach yourself to it. That's number two. Number three, take more action. Overthinking is the Medusa, right? Overthinking is what will lead you to just never taking action at all. And when you take action, Eric Ries talks about it in his book, The Lean Startup, where like you take more action, you get a higher feedback loop, you get more data, you can get to that end goal quicker. And Thomas Edison actually is a great example of his light bulb. When he was working on inventing the light bulb, his mission, his purpose, his direction, he tried over 1,000 different experiments before succeeding. Most people couldn't try 5 or 10 because your brain's fried and you're just drifting and not using your brain. So sometimes that's what it takes, right? To be successful, people aren't willing to do it. And especially nowadays with their brain, it seems like such a tall mountain to climb. So that kind of goes into this like goal gradient effect that I talked about in a recent video as well. Set smaller milestones on your journey of accomplishing your mission and purpose that can trick your brain to shortcoming these dopamine hits so that you can kind of level up and feel like you're moving closer to your goal, even though it's potentially even further away. So just to clear that up, the goal gradient effect is how when your mind perceives you're getting closer to your goal, it feels more motivated to continue to do it, right? And to continue to pursue it. So if you're going after a very ambitious, hard, challenging goal, which most of our lives will contain some degree of complexity, the goal gradient effect will help you to take kind of smaller checkpoints and begin to like feel better about what you're doing over a longer period of time and stay with your goal without quitting. Last but not least, have an undeniable faith in what you're doing. Have certainty, have confidence, believe in yourself. I know it sounds cliche, but ultimately, if you're living in maybe land, if you're a maybe person or an I don't know, it might work. It's most likely not. You're most likely going to find yourself drifting away. So being definitive towards your action, towards your goal is key. And the more action you take backed by faith, the more confident you will get. All right, I'm going to end on a few more points. What are some more practical points that maybe I've done in my life that you can apply to? Not maybe I have done in my life that you can apply to. And it's number 1, create more than you consume. If you're consuming a lot, then most likely you're drifting a lot, right? And if you are consume through the lens of inspiration. When you consume, look for the things that inspire you to create, right? And that's a better way to consume. So create more than you consume. Have a focal point when you find yourself drifting out of your body, when you find yourself not present, you're not in this moment, you're like, oh my God, like you have the awareness and you're just like, maybe you're stressed, you're anxious, you're having this fear arise. Find a focal point. What a focal point is, I believe Bruce Lee said something about this. I think it's where I learned it from. I used to play sports in years prior. It's where I picked it up. A focal point is you find something in the room, in your environment, that you just stare at like a dot. It could be a leaf on a tree. It could be whatever. You stare at it for like 30 seconds. Recalibrate yourself inside your body in the present moment. Get back to what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Last but not least, journal your days. At the end of every day, write down what you did. 1, this will help you actually remember what you did a few days ago because you probably don't. But 2, you'll be able to get data on your days and see like, what am I doing? What am I doing good? What am I doing bad? Why is it that I'm miserable? You're using your brain to improve. Critical thinking is how you defeat drifting, right? So journal your days, start to improve your life through that. I hope this was valuable to you guys. I know there's a ton of information in here. Most people won't be able to make it through, but if you did, I hope this was valuable to you. Much love, like, follow, and share for more.